Juniper, UC Irvine. Defending champs of this did some great things in the post run last year, including beating UCLA, who was the #2 seed and ranked 3rd in the nation in the first round. And what a nice NCAA run that has. We have kicked off here at Mustang Memorial Field at Cal Poly. Happy to have you join us. Beautiful Sunday afternoon. The weather will not be a factor for either of these teams. This is a turf field. And Grace, how does that play for either of these teams?
Naturally, the ball is going to run faster, so it's just being aware of that and having those stuck-in tackles potentially before you let that ball roll behind the back line. But other than that, it's going to be really equal today in terms of the turf.
A great insight from you. As we see these two teams try to settle in and try to find their rhythm and their cadence early. You see Irvine building from that back, wants to turn and take it right up the middle. A foul called on Long Beach State, so UC Irvine here will get a chance to restart. Grace, take us through your keys to the match.
For UC Irvine, they play a really beautiful style of play. They love to build out the back. So today I want to see them really lean on what works for them, outpossess Long Beach State. And with that, no easy chances. When you have, we see a good chance coming now, Tammy. But when you see this, the lineup they're having to face in Long Beach State, especially those front three that we already talked about, they have to be compact and make sure that no easy chances and you're marking really tight in the box.
Yeah, we just saw a great run there by the left back and Alex Jaquez, #9 for UCI. And it gets across, and on the other end now, UCI will set up for their first corner of the match, and it's an early corner. They can be dangerous on set pieces. Let's see if anybody makes a run to the near post. Nothing happening on that one. These two teams very good on set pieces. We talked earlier in the week, Grace, with these coaches, and they talked about how dangerous they can be off those set pieces.
And especially UCI, the way that they have finished this season, they have been doing so well off set pieces. They have been getting game after game that had to be must win to first get into this tournament and then in those overtimes, and they continue to find success off set piece goals.
UCI playing a little bit of negative soccer here just to try to build up, switching the field of play. And look at this pressure by Long Beach State as UCI goes a bit more direct up that channel, if you will. They know that there's going to be high pressure and they want to break that first line of defense, Grace, because the three front runners for Long Beach State have pace and very good skills in pressuring that back line. If they can turn something over, they can get something. Grace, help us understand your keys for Long Beach State University.
For Long Beach State, I want to see them change the way they're building through the thirds of the field, because when you have such a dominant goal scorer, everyone knows that you're looking for Solano. So that means dump in some long balls, get that back line to open up a little bit, such a compact back line in UCI, and then do that combo play, be able to play in between. When you're not just building the same way over and over again, it makes defenders nervous because they can't expect what's going to come. And then, like we already said, they have to defend tight on set pieces.
I know that Long Beach State wants to really try to draw defenders with those three front runners that they have and try to find those different combinations. That's where that space is going to open up, and then you could get a player like Solano who might choose to be unselfish today, at least Mauricio and Gracia hope so, and take a few more shots on frame.
And Solano last match in the semifinals was so unselfish. She kept drawing defenders out and having beautiful slip balls. And I love that she's able to do both pass and score. But today I do want to see her ball hard. I want to see her break that record and really hunt the goal.
Inside the 18 and dispossessed by UCI. As that was a nice run by Long Beach State. But look at how quickly UCI wants to turn and counter. They know those are those opportunities. Because of that high press, sometimes if UCI can be quick, try to counter the other way. Now remember, UCI has to take advantage of the opportunities pretty early, like they did the first time these two teams met. It was a tie, but Scott Juniper feeling like his team really dominated, played well in the first 45 minutes. Grace, they took 12 shots in the first half, first 45 minutes. They only allowed one shot for Long Beach State in 45 minutes until Long Beach State came out and turned it around.
And both coaches seem to have such a healthy respect for each other. They talked about how their last matchup was a tale of two halves. I believe they both said that to us in the interviews. So they seemed very humbly aware of what that game was for them. And they also said this game is so different. A mid-game season versus towards the end of game season are completely different teams. You have a potentially different starting lineup, and we see like a Huff who's coming in towards the end of season playing so well. So both teams are going to offer different strengths and weaknesses than the first time this season.
You just saw our graphic on the series history. You talk about how tough these two teams are, Grace, and you know that this match, that black and blue rivalry series that everybody loves to see, can be such a grind. You know, I may expect really almost a very tight match here today. I mean, it could be just a 1-0 game, depending on what happens. Shot by Long Beach State University as they try to make something quick from the throw-in on the touch line. Nothing happening.
And those are the moments with Solano where if it's a different player, it seems like, why did they just take a weird one-touch volley? But we've seen with Solano all season, she can score that. And what's so hard to defend with her as a goalkeeper is she can both dribble and then shoot or just shoot right away. So you don't know when that shot's coming. So it can be hard as a goalkeeper to know when and where to set your feet when Solano's on the ball facing goal.
Speaking of Solano on the ball, she comes back to receive it and she tries to pass it off to Cherry Cox, the freshman of the year. So offensive player of the year and Cherry Cox, freshman of the year, playing well with each other. But here comes UCI. Out wide. Sends something in, but nothing happening. Long Beach State really making sure that they step into those passing lanes and try to dispossess, because they want to not only move quickly, but dominate in that possession, because they know then that they've got the ability to build throughout the thirds of this pitch.
And if Long Beach State can keep corralling UCI to one corner, a bad habit of UCI this season has been building through one lane of the field. Once they choose the side that they're going forward on, they stay on that side. Today's going to be important, especially with the pressure of Long Beach State, that they're going to keep switching the point of attack, making those defenders move left to right, and then going forward.
We will have another corner kick. This is UCI's second corner kick, so they are making good work of playing in the attacking third of their field and creating these chances. They set up really way far out on the edge, but now you have a couple of runs here happening. And it's in! The shot with the flick for UCI. And UCI is on the board first.
And what a flick that was by number 20 Covey for UC Irvine. Just an amazing play, kind of made out of nothing. You see that shot kind of bouncing, and Covey, and Coach Scott Juniper told us that Covey had those moments of magic, and we see it right here. Jaquez finding the shot.
Yeah, brilliantly sent in, and I will tell you, there was a defensive breakdown there. I mean, look at where Covey is, just right there in the center. There's nobody there marking her. She's literally her back to the net calling for the ball. Jaquez puts a beauty on the foot of Covey. And Erin Covey gets this championship started quickly. Erin Covey with her third goal of the season. And it was a beauty.
And so innovative. Not many players think to flick back to goal like that. So to think of that in a reactionary moment in such a big game is a really big time play by Covey. And as well as that, Long Beach State, we already talked about it. Set pieces, they have to mark tight. They have to have their head on a swivel. And immediately, we're seeing UCI dominance on set pieces.
I mean, Covey was wide, so wide open right there, sending in the center, just inside that 6. She could have easily settled that ball, turn and shoot, but she, like you said, was innovative. I like that word, very creative in the use, and there is just, that was a quick make of a goal. Long Beach State down at the other end here. They're going to set up for a free kick here. Just over the top, and that one will be handled easily by Glo Hinojosa, and she gets it out to a quick restart. UCI wants to go direct. And that is Huff up above to Covey. Nice pass back. Covey will chase this one down. Long Beach State settling into their defensive formation. Huff sends one inside on the outside, a close one. heavily weighted there on that diagonal, kept low to the ground. A clinical pass there, looking for that far side or that backside run, Grace.
And UCI coming out on the front foot today. It's not the way that they've been playing consistently throughout the season. We get a look back. Of course, it's Huff sending that ball into Monzo, unable to get it. So close, though. Huff continuing to find her shot in her cross. But for UCI, like I was saying, this is a new look. It's a bit unpredictable that they're coming out in a championship match doing something different than that has been working for them. So it's nice to see them come out with a bit more aggression. And for Long Beach State, this is a big 5 moment. As soon as you concede a goal, those next 5 minutes are really important. You immediately want to get that momentum back. You want to get your foot back in the game. So they're going to need to bring in a little bit more aggression. And I would love to see to start that with grittiness on defense. The best way to have aggressive offense is to have a bit of grittiness in your defenders.
Yeah, I love that point. UCI with that confidence that you spoke about. I'm certainly feeling good about how early they get on the board, especially in a championship match.
And talking to both coaches before the match, they both were talking about managing confidence with their players. You don't want them too inflated because you still want them to come out humble and understanding what the match means, but also having them confident enough to really give themselves the permission to make big plays. And we're immediately seeing that in a player like Covey. I mean, that's a big permission play to give yourself a flick for a goal in a championship match.
Well, UCI had 5 ties in conference this season, right? We talked about one of those being this Long Beach State University team, and we mentioned those 12 shots in the first half for UCI, 45 minutes, and an early score. And guess who it was when they tied? It was Erin Covey. So she gets on the board again versus Long Beach State. There's Long Beach State. Cherry Cox getting around that last line. Shot! Boy, a beautifully struck ball there by Cox, and you can see the power, Grace.
And that's such a hard angle to score at because you always want your goalkeeper to cover the near post when there's a forward at the width like that. But Cox does a great job taking on a defender with confidence and immediately looking for her shot. What I love about this is the touch that beats the defender is the same touch that sets up her shot, and that's really high quality out of a young player.
Yeah, in fact, I think from our sightlines up here, she may have even nutmegged just to put the ball there. That first touch was beautiful. Great texture that she plays with on the ball. Long Beach State setting up for the corner. They'll go short here. Medwin tries to take it inside. UCI is all there, and they are off to the races. This pass, that will be broken up.
And it's unfortunate that UCI wasn't able to make more out of that play because when you're 3v1, you've got to attack that counterattack. You can even keep dribbling to pull that one defender and then dish. Having that early pass allows that defender to stay in the zonal area and then just be able to rotate once the pass is made.
And thank good Aaliyah Sinoff for Long Beach State was there because UCI did have 3v1 attacking from about the mid-center line. Long Beach State University wants to look for Cherry Cox on that right side, and you can tell that there is some comfort and some confidence there early on in this match with that shot. And that shot coming from about the middle third of this pitch over the back line. And Cox has the speed to be able to get around. We've already seen that. Clever, crafty. Here's Cox. She hits more looking. She puts it on the foot of Solano. Good shot on frame! And right over the crossbar. What a beautifully squared off pass by Solano. And that was nicely done. Amy Medwin took a clear shot, Grace.
She absolutely ripped that shot. If that had gone on net, that's a goal undoubtedly. That's a lot of power to get on a shot like that.
Right over the crossbar, and she hits the crossbar of the football field goal.
And these are the benefits you see of having a goal scorer. Defenders have to swarm towards the goal scorer if she's near and in the box when she gets on the ball, which allows other players like an outside back in Medwin to be able to run up and have a wide open shot.
Cox, who gets it over to Solano. Nice little give and go on a touch. Look at this combination play here. Solano, they'll call offsides. A great run. You love the combination play, and you can see that Cox and Solano working so well together. And I think what stands out for me is how quick they are to these open spaces, and the defenders, it's like they turn around and they're gone. Elusive.
Absolutely, Tammy. And their transition from defense to offense there was so quickly as soon as they got the ball back. And it's nice to see them have some combo play. Sometimes they get a little bit too much width in between them, and they're both so dynamic and good on the ball. The more they can have that bouncing off one another, they're going to be able to find more shots.
You could tell that Solano tried to just hold up. She knew the referee was right behind her with the flag, and she had to chase that ball, and in doing so, she got called for offsides. Substitution for UCI. Emily Castagna, who Scott Juniper talked so highly about in our phone call, and Kiera Smangy will come off for a respite.
It's going to be really important for UCI in this match with the pressure that Long Beach State is giving them defensively, that they stay calm. If you're going to do a long ball, you immediately have to be able to hold possession and let your team come up with you. Sometimes you see teams, especially in college, getting chaotic and a bit too stressed out with the high press. And so as long as Long Beach State can keep feeling confident that we've been building out of the back all season, even with extra pressure in today's match, we can find each other's feet and continue to build through the thirds of the field.
Great heel flick there, and idea by Covey to try to heel flick that to her teammate. Didn't happen as Long Beach State University had shored up their defense and stepped into that passing lane. But UCI looks good to me, Grace, on the attack. They are making good, you know, I see a few triangles. I see some short passes happening, longer passes happening. They're connecting. Their build is really, really good.
I totally agree, Tammy, and it's a great point. The triangle play is happening because they're just popping off their defenders by a few feet. It's not those long runs that you need to get open. Just 2 or 3 yards sometimes just gives you that little bit of space that you can then find that triangular pass.
Grace, sometimes if you take a step in the right direction, that defender will then do something that frees something else up that's happening, and that's where you start to see combinations take place and manifest.
Absolutely, and at this point of season, it makes sense that we're seeing that kind of play.
Here's Covey. She's got about 1 on 3 as Long Beach State chases back. She tries to send a through ball through that back line. But that ball got blocked, and then it came right back, so she tried to recycle it and send it back, but it was wide. Covey, such a great little player, and Scott Juniper will tell you she's honestly the best player that they have ever had. She continues to get better after being injured, but she looks very, very healthy. She played the first 4 games of last year's season when she got injured. But it was in 2019 that Covey played a huge role in their season. She took on a big role for this UCI team. Came off the bench and really showed the coaching staff, Covey, what she was capable of, and really a great growth trajectory ever since.
And I love that Coach Juniper was really talking about that. He said, we haven't even seen the best from Covey yet, even though she's been doing so well this season.
Did you see the foul here? So free kick by UCI. Huff will take that one, no surprise there. Huff is great on set pieces, great on throw-ins. Nice kick back to continue possession, but then UCI sends it right over the top.
And it's moments like this that Long Beach State can just funnel the ball back around the defense, pass it to their goalkeeper. There's no need to then kick it out when you're trying to get back into this game, onto the scoring sheet for the first time for your team in this game. It's really important that you're coming in calm and confident. I know for me as a player, especially when I played college soccer and I got into my older years of college soccer, it was really important for me to hold that stature. So for the Long Beach State women on this team that are older, it's going to be important that even though they're down a goal in a championship match, they're showing that calm composure and that confidence and that willingness to still pass the ball around and not rush it forward even though they're down a goal.
Covey takes it out. UCI trying to work on the sideline there. It'll go out of bounds. Goal kick. Long Beach State. You mentioned it's really important for Long Beach State to stay focused in terms of trying to find their offense. And that's because they come into this match with the highest scoring offense in the Big West. Shot there, UCI takes
so there's so much to be confident in.
There's so much to be, you're right. And Grace, they have Solano, who ranks 5th in the nation in goals scored.
It's amazing.
Yeah. And 8th in the nation in goals per game. She is a clinical striker. That's what I call her. She's a clinical striker.
I totally agree. And then you add in all the magic that she has as well. She can do both. It's really amazing.
She knows how and where to score. Solano, there she is. She turns. Pressure closes in. They close the gap. Cox. She'll send that back to Aliyah Sinoff. Sinoff brings it to the middle, and Long Beach State using and focusing this build, trying to see where the shifts are. Oh, great step up there by Jaquez. How about the hustle by Jaquez, stepping in and really giving this UCI team some momentum to potentially counter.
And this whole UCI defense in this last play doing a great job making play predictable, which is exactly what you want to do when you're not in possession of the ball.
Maddie Perez will give this a restart here. One of the great back line players of Long Beach State University. She anchors that back line. She is the reigning Big West Freshman of the Year as she sends that in. UCI did not clear at first. Long Beach State gets it out, and they will try to set up again. Maddie Perez looking to go over the top to Solano, but defense was there, and UCI is not going to miss an opportunity to know where number 4 is on the pitch. Oh, nice. Solano has it. And another great quick step up. So Jaquez has been a key defensively for this back line, especially with Solano coming over and supporting Cherry Cox.
And her work rate is so high consistently all season, and she has that stuck-in tackle mentality, which is exactly what you want out of a defender.
There's Jones, Solano, and Cox all in the front, pressing high and making UCI work a bit negative. So they wisely use Glo Hinojosa in the keeper position to try to start something. And that is that pressure that Long Beach State will continue to bring. I don't expect that pressure to lay off or back off, Grace.
I completely agree, especially in a match like this. You can kind of ride that adrenaline for the whole 90.
This is a Long Beach State University team that really piled on the tough non-conference competition. They played ASU, UW, USC, all out of the Pac-12. SDSU, who's in the Mountain West Conference, had a pretty strong finish. Pepperdine, who's been ranked in the top 15 all season long. Harvard, also another top-ranked team, strong RPI. That built the confidence for them to be in this position where they are today. They ignored nobody. They played the best because Mauricio Ingracia says that's who we are. We want to build and we want to continue to be consistent from year to year, and we are in our best place at the end of the year when we know we have confidence of what we've done back in our non-conference schedule.
And that's such a great mentality, and it also helps set these girls up who do want to play professionally, that are used to playing all these different styles of play out of conference and potentially higher levels of play where it's a ton of national team girls all on one team. And that builds character. It helps you understand where your level is at as a player and where you can be better.
Long Beach State, who you might remember if you're a women's soccer fan, they went to the Elite 8 in 2011, and they are chasing to get back. That is a big goal for them. What a great run that was in 2011. They actually beat UCI in the Big West Conference Championship that year, 1-0. They went on to the Elite Advance all the way to the Elite 8, where they lost to Duke only by 2. UCI, by the way, in that championship game was not only the top seed, but they were ranked 16th in the nation. Tells you the strength of this UCI program year over year.
And I'd like to see Long Beach State's midfield get a bit more involved. It feels like because the mid has been clogged up, they're just not moving as much as I'm used to seeing. You can still have those little movements of space, and it seems like the Long Beach defenders are sending more long balls because there's not those players running towards balls. So I'd love to see a Caceres, who had such a great game last game in the semifinals, want that ball a little more and become that quarterback and build out from the midfield rather than just skipping the midfield, going from defenders straight to forwards.
You're right on Caceres. She sits back in almost that holding midfield position. She sits right in front of that back line for Long Beach State University, but she's so good in being able to connect. I mean, she has been a very key player for this Long Beach State team all year long. She was 2019 Big West All-Freshman. Last year played 12 matches and started 10. So she comes into this year, Caceres, as Mauricio Ingracia saying, yeah, I know exactly who's going to play in that spot.
And when she's playing confidently, she really holds it down in the defensive mid position. Her ability to control the tempo, which is exactly what you want out of a defensive mid, understanding when to quickly pass the ball off your foot and when to slow it down and loop it back through the back line. She seems to have really good awareness between the two.
She is that important link between the back line and also can be an important link to those great front runners. So I would say that her linkage, they've got to be able to use more of that. Hinojosa reads that one well off the free kick from about 50 yards out. Oh, UCI thought that they had started something, but broken up again by a solid back line in Long Beach State University. Here's what you want, Caceres with the ball at her foot, she has room. And Maddie Chavez, the center back for UCI, steps right in and gets in front of Solano and doesn't let Solano possess that ball with her back to the net, which is the way that we see Solano like to play, right? She likes to turn, face her teammates oftentimes, and she'll pin that defender. She can do that, but boy, that was a great step in by Chavez.
And Chavez is so great coming off the back line. She's the most aggressive defender, in my opinion, for this UCI back line. All season, she's been having those borderline dirty tackles, which is great because that's how I play. I love that style of play. And as a defender, you can have confidence that she's going to come in and demand the ball back for your team. And to have a player at the center of your defense like that is really a benefit.
Everybody needs a Maddie Chavez on their team. NCAA All-West Region second team last year. Big West co-defensive player of the year last year. And the Big West Tournament Championship MVP. So, yeah, you betcha. Maddie Chavez, her awards and accolades, a dime a dozen. Aislinn, that's Creighton, or excuse me, Gianna Creighton. Tati Fung comes back. Oh, this is great connection here by UCI and work in the middle of the field and really challenging and asking the question of Long Beach State to defend right there in the middle. You've seen UCI use the right side of the field a bit more, and not so much of a width team, I would say, as Long Beach State University, but it looked like something good was building for UCI.
And UCI is doing a really good job just having calm, small range passes with one another. And I want to see them keep, if you're able to have so many passes together and keep darting the ball, wait for that really fantastic shot when you're able to hold possession in the attacking third. Wait that 1 or 2 extra passes to have that shot that's really dangerous.
I like that. That's a really good mindset and great insight from you, Grace. As Sinoff was busy from Long Beach State University, and you saw Long Beach State really switch the field of attack, which I thought was brilliant. They continue to use that right flank, those right channels, to be able to try to get behind that back line. Cox, Moore, Sinoff have all been very effective in those areas. Laramie steps up. There you go, UCI spreading it out. Inside, thought maybe you would have a cross, but because of the defense of Laramie and Perez, there was no cross for that late run to happen, so it's a pretty soft shot there by Alyssa Moore of UCI.
And those are the moments where you want to see that player have a little bit of deception to just create a half second of space so you can get that cross across. Because when you're so far near post, it's just going to be hard to get it in behind the keeper unless you soar it directly into that upper 90 and rip the snots out of the ball. Right. If you don't do that, it's almost impossible to score unless the goalkeeper makes a big mistake.
You talked about Alyssa Moore for UCI. She had started, then she missed some games for UCI, then she was back in the lineup. In fact, she missed just a few non-conference matchups, but when it was time to call the conference number and those matchups were there, Scott Juniper saying, yeah, we're going to go with her. And she has had in her illustrious career there 5 game winners. Alyssa Moore with 4 goals on the season. She is capable of changing the game for this UCI team. Push from the back on Solano. I thought Maddie Chavez really threw Solano down to the ground, but our officials say play on.
And that's exactly what I was talking about. The borderline dirty tackles is the Chavez way. In this partnership between number 11 Perez on the ball now and Solano, Perez used to be a midfielder, which means her distribution is so good. So she often looks for that direct long ball straight to Solano, and it's worked really well this season.
She also leads the team in minutes, does Maddie Perez, so an experienced player, rarely comes off the pitch. In fact, you'll see Perez, who will take free kicks and corners as well. She's so crucial to the overall piece for the Beach. Here she is, Perez. She gets it to Moore. Nice touch by Cox, who tries to flick it to Julia Moore. I think Scott Juniper Grace would be very, very pleased with the defensive effort of his squad at this point.
I totally agree. And one thing I love about Coach Juniper is he's so honest and blunt about how he feels about how his team plays match to match. I know last game he gave them a 7 out of 10. He thought it was average, and he was really demanding more. He wanted them to come out more confident coming into this game, and I would definitely say they've done that so far.
They have certainly found a very good balance. I mean, you see right there on that diagonal sent in how much sucked in UCI was. They really only had one front runner standing at the center line of this pitch, and everybody else looked like they had take great shape and great formation, and they're really talking and great communicating. And you can really also thank Glo Hinojosa for that, the keeper of UCI. Scott Juniper, high praise for his keeper, says she's a terrific human being. She always thinks of others, and that's why she makes such a great keeper. That communication and talking. Here's Ibarra, and she sends one. Oh, so close from far out, well outside the 18. Quick work of that one, Grace, from Sarah Ibarra, who plays in that midfield position.
And Ibarra does a great job here, having her head up. She takes space that she needs to take to get herself in range, in a really decent take at goal there. Unfortunately, not able to get it on net, but that's better for Long Beach State. In those moments where UCI gets a little nervous, it's getting closer and closer to becoming a goal. It's going to allow Long Beach State to build momentum and find their flow a little bit better.
She certainly had the space in front of her, right? I mean, why not take a shot like that? Nobody was closing that gap, and so she had a wide open look.
And again, when you have a goal scorer like Solano, those UCI defenders have to choose. Are we going to stay marked on the goal scorer or step off? And that's the benefit of goal scorers outside of just the simple fact of scoring goals.
And that's why it's important for people like Ibarra to think about shot first as well, because if you go in and you become part of the attack, right? If you're only going to be able to pass to be effective, your next look is a pass to be effective, you're really not as effective as you can be or as good as you can be. So when Ibarra not only passes and connects but shoots, now that opens up things for some of those other front runners that we know Solano with 16 goals can do.
I totally agree, Tammy.
We have a yellow card that got booked just as we were wrapping up that conversation.
So again, we're not seeing many players checking to the ball when these Long Beach State defenders are on the ball, and it's going to make them more nervous when they have pressure on them. There's got to be more midfielders in Long Beach State coming towards the ball, making those little movements, demanding the ball, and showing that aggression. And when there are players that want the ball on the team, the whole team raises in confidence. So often you see a domino effect when some of your veteran players aren't asking for the ball. Those younger players then kind of get nervous too, because the ones that they're used to relying on to get the ball from aren't wanting it as much. So it's really important that this midfield in Long Beach State going into the second half change that dynamic and that mentality.
I like that. Great breakdown for us. Grace, you act as if you may have played pro soccer in your day. Oh, I shouldn't say in your day. You're not done yet. Wishing you the best in your ACL rehab so that you can get back and get into one of these camps. And I want to see you play more on that pro level, okay? Is that deal?
Thank you very much.
Okay.
You can call my games too.
Okay, good. We have a deal. It would be an honor for me. Hinojosa directing her defense to go ahead and push forward as she's going to give this one a good boot. Hinojosa, by the way, has had 4 shutouts in 4 Big West Championship matches. She has been in the thick of it, she's seen it, and she has stepped up with a number of clean sheets. Look at the speed of Fung. Nice strip.
Medwin.
Boy,
there.
Medwin, Amy Medwin, yeah.
Doing a fantastic job. That's not an easy tackle to make look so clean. That shows athleticism and her ability to know the right moment to grab that ball.
Knew what to do with it too when she turned around. She's a transfer from Ole Miss. She's one of those players that when I think about where she sits on the pitch and what she's asked to do, she is immediate pressure on the ball, right, with your opponent's forwards, and that's what she did. This one sent in from the outside inside to the 6, dangerously loose for 1 second, but now UCI will get the opportunity to have a corner kick here. And this will be Amber Huff. I know, go for it. Amber Huff here, setting up for this.
It's going to be really important that Long Beach State marks extremely tight on this set piece.
There it is! Amber Huff sends one in, and Grace, you just called it. You just called it on the corner. That Long Beach State University needed to be tight. And it looked to me like Huff sent this one up and over into some open space. And a pass to the back of the net. Here's Huff. She sends one up and over. And it looked like it was a header by Sue DeBacher. Sue DeBacher, number 5 for UCI.
And DeBacher absolutely hunting that ball. She took her momentum all the way into net, and that's what makes headers, especially attacking headers, more easily when you're running your body towards goal. And Huff, I have chills. She has been trending at the end of season so beautifully. It's amazing to see players who come into themselves no matter what time of season, but at such an important moment, she's just racking up assists at this point.
So UCI, they got on the board first with a beautiful flick by Erin Covey, and now off of a set piece in what was the 34th minute to go ahead 2-0.
And that's DeBacher again, able to get her head on it now on the defensive side. And we've seen that in games. I've seen her hunt those attacking balls off set pieces in a beautiful team finish there between Huff and DeBacher.
Want to make sure, because earlier I had mentioned there was a yellow card booked against UCI, and we were not able to see who that was given to from our position up here, and they did give it to Alex Jaquez of UCI number 9, so we'll put that on record. But meanwhile, UCI is now working with a 2-0 lead. And that changes the way they manage the game, Grace.
Oh, completely. And like
Time
we've
management.
been talking about, they usually play defensive. So being up 2-0 already plays in their favor. But I actually wouldn't want them to change too much, because when what you're doing is working for you, as a coach, if you then ask your team to then go more defensive, it might bring them back to their back foot rather than staying on that front foot and playing with confidence. And for Long Beach State, they've got to get Lena Solano opportunities. There haven't been enough crosses in the box in those little moments where Solano's getting slipped in between defenders. And when you're down 2-0, you've got to rely on the person you know can score consistently.
Good point there. She took 9 shots in the final regular season against UCSB. 87 shots on the year for Solano. Ranks 8th in Big West history in that. You are right, Grace. Put the ball at her feet. Get her, however you have to do it, get the ball there and then let her go to work. She had a brace on Sunday on October 30th versus Santa Barbara. She owns the record for most multi-goal games at Long Beach State University with a career of 8, and even in one season with 5. So you're looking at the Offensive Player of the Year, who has to be part of what is going to be a comeback now for Long Beach State University.
And I would love to see players like Cherry Cox take on that defender and drive inline, because then you can set up an easy cross for a player like Solano. The more that they can bring in those spaces for Solano to just have an easy finish, the whole team is going to gain confidence. But what Long Beach State has on their side is when you know you have a player that can score so consistently in all these different ways, even when you're down 2-0 and things aren't looking great in a moment, you have that in the back of your mind as a team.
Cherry Cox for Long Beach State, as you mentioned, she also can score and take pressure off. She scored a goal in every match from October 2nd to October 16th. So you have others. It doesn't have to rest solely with Solano. Solano has to be a part of it in some way, shape, or form, but you know, Cherry Cox is right there as a great threat for this Long Beach State team.
And the shot selection is going to be really important for Long Beach State. I know Coach Ingracia said he doesn't know how many chances they're going to get this match. That means just because you're in the attacking third with a little space, that doesn't necessarily mean to shoot. Can you give that extra 2-3 passes to make a really dangerous chance? We haven't seen so many of those this match yet from Long Beach State, just knocking on the door where Hinojosa has to come up with a massive save. I'd like to see them test her a little bit more.
Yeah, and you can see right there what can happen is as soon as Solano gets the ball, play her on. Maddie Chavez, guess who? And she's playing her tough. I mean, she just literally swiped another one off the foot of Solano. Maddie Chavez is not going to make, you know, many mistakes back there in that center back position.
And I love that matchup between Solano and Chavez. It's such an epic matchup. Nothing's going to come easy for either of them.
That'll be UCI with a throw-in, and they can be dangerous here again. Amber Huff, her throw-in. Watch this. Look at where she puts that on the throw. Oh, and that was again dangerous. I mean, I love watching Amber Huff throw the ball in. And if you saw where she was positioned and she threw that one inside the 6 to a target, that's a weapon. That's a scoring weapon from the side.
It's amazing how well they do off of this. There's a lot of teams I've seen that have long throws, but they're continuing to make dangerous opportunities off of it, and that's not always easy when it's obvious you have the long thrower stepping up to do the long throw. It's very predictable, but they continue to get their head on it, and that just shows this UC Irvine mentality from these players to be the first to those 50-50 balls.
Spanky goes over and picks that one up and gets things going for UCI. Creighton, who's been remarkable in supporting defense for UCI against this good offensive team in Long Beach State. Haven't talked about Creighton a whole lot, but she is there and very reliable. Castagna doing a really nice job playing well on the ball. Good touches by Emily. Alyssa Moore with a good touch, and you could see that Emily Castagna and Alyssa Moore trying to work together.
And this long throw is such a strength for UC Irvine, because for other teams, when you get a throw on, you see a lot of teams lose possession off of it.
And it's in for UCI off the throw. Amber Huff throws it in, and it just looks like Long Beach State in this situation had a breakdown. The ball was loose, and it was too easy of a finish for UCI. What a placement by Huff. Here's the throw in, and watch how dangerously loose this ball is for as long as it was. And Lily Rask finishes, or was that? It didn't look like Rask maybe finished that, but maybe it was the flick before.
Either way, the fact that that ball is bouncing and so easily, Long Beach State is really going to have to get it together at halftime, because that's too soft of a goal. In a championship match, you've got to be hunting, and as a defender, hitting that up and out at the high point, and to let that really trickle through so many people, the goalkeeper, the team for Long Beach State, it's too soft of a goal. And Huff, I mean,
the throw-in is it's a weapon. Yeah, she can't throw the ball in goal and score. That's not allowed. It has to touch somebody. But she throws it right there, setting it up for an assist. And that goal will be credited, I am told, by number 25, Autumn Thompkins of UCI.
And it looked like she just got a little tap on it. It was an awkward ball because it was allowed to bounce so much. And that's such a dynamic throw. I've seen players that have long throws, but never so well executed as Huff. I don't know what her ab routine is, but her core is a lot of snap on that.
Oh, and they're going to get called for offsides. UCI is. But I will tell you, the confidence that is coming from this UCI team is nearly unmatched at this point. Long Beach State understanding they have a massive hill to climb and still plenty of time to do so. But against a team that has, I think, really found very good play for themselves at both ends of the field, Grace. A very, very big hole for the Beach to climb out of.
I totally agree. What they're doing so well defensively is they're making play predictable. We're seeing Long Beach State build out of this right side so often, and that's a nod to UC Irvine controlling them, pushing them towards the side, pushing them towards the side. But we get a good chance here. Perez has great distribution, and this is one of the better opportunities we're now looking at for Long Beach State.
Perez, who can, certainly put this on target. She's very good at bending the ball, and
it's going to be really important she gets the ball behind the back line here so players can just run directly on it.
Yeah, there will certainly be a couple runs, and who will she find as she chips this one up? And credit UCI for being ball winner in the air for much of this first half. That is how they have done it.
And winning the 50-50, those air balls, any 50-50 balls, is such a good way to try to ensure a win, because that gets you on your front foot naturally.
Oh, beautifully played by UCI on a great run. And Castagna was waiting patiently. A perfectly weighted ball over the top there, I thought, by Castagna.
And a great idea to have a little bit of texture on that, and a beautiful team build-up right there. We're seeing UCI continue to get more and more confidence throughout this match, and rightfully so.
And they're going to wrap up the first 45 minutes of play here. And it was all UCI for the first 45 that we have in the books, with a 3-0 lead over Long Beach State University. And Grace, your thoughts on this first half, especially offensively for UCI?
for UCI having one of their best matches of season in the match needed most. So it's massive, so big time by all these different players stepping up and showing out. And for Long Beach State, just as we talked about, not marking tight enough on set pieces, they have got to change that going into the second half.
Their defense has been equally good at the other end, committed on both sides of the field. It's a clean sheet right now for the first 45. Hinojosa was a big part of that, but that back line for UCI has really stepped up.
And they're shutting it down at the source, as you're saying. They're making the game easier for Hinojosa because they're not letting these shots. I'll be hoping that this game is a tale of two halves so that they can get back into it and find some goals.
Well, they will have a massive hill to climb. They certainly will. It is doable, especially under head coach Mauricio Ingracia. Certainly something I think that I'll be keeping an eye on, and I know you will too, Grace, will be like, can this Long Beach State University team really bring in some clinical finishing? Can they read the keeper? Can they look at how to be more efficient when they're inside the 18 or even inside the 6? What about their positioning? Where are they going to be? How are they going to create those chances and then look to finish?
And I'm so curious what Coach Ingracia changed at halftime, if they're going to start dumping in long balls and just try to overload UCI backline, or continue to try to have some combo play and draw them out. It's going to be really interesting to see what they do in the second half.
Regardless of what they do, they certainly need to give Hinojosa of UCI, the goalie, a big challenge, and they need to do it from inside the 6. I mean, maybe the 18, but certainly inside the 6. I think that's where some things can happen for this team.
I totally agree, and that's a lot of times going to come from creating crosses, creating shooting opportunities off crosses allows that easier chances inside the 6, inside the box, where you can have those tap-in finishes.
To me, it looks like UCI played 45 minutes the way that they played their season last year and what they wanted to accomplish after they won the championship last year. And they come in defending their title. They look sharp. I will never forget what they did to UCLA in the first round of the NCAA tournament last year. You know that even though players will tell you they take one game at a time or one match at a time, and coaches tell you the same thing, this UCI team is hot right now, and they will not forget knocking off UCLA in the first round and being able to advance. That's how you continue to build a program. That was a program win. In fact, it was the first win over UCLA for that UCI team since 1995. It also was the highest ranked win in history for UCI. Prior to that, they had beaten number 6 BYU. So a great job under the leadership of Scott Juniper, the head coach for UCI, who has to be feeling very good about the first 45 minutes. Grace, what do you think his message was to his team as they protect this 3-0 lead?
I think it's going to be similar to what he said before the game, managing confidence. You still want the team to be humble and to understand you can blow a 3-goal lead, but also understand and congratulate and build that confidence to say, hey guys, we came out and played one of our best halves of season when it mattered most, and let's ride that and continue to win those 50-50 balls. Let's continue to be gritty and make play predictable when we're out of possession. And I think he's going to want them to play very similarly going into the second half.
Long throw in for UCI goes to the foot of Covey. Heel flick, nicely done. Played back. Caceres is there. Ooh, good idea. I am loving this heel flick action that we are seeing. Creative, playing with great texture on the ball too for UCI.
And it's so fun to see players have that creativity and the permission of it in big games. Sometimes you see two types of players, players who rise to pressure and players who fall to pressure. And so far today, these UCI players just looking confident with the pressure and finding that combo play with one another.
Fung tries to square one off over to her teammate Amber Huff, who keeps things low. Zora Standifer, keeper for Long Beach State University, easily takes that one up. We haven't had a chance to talk about Standifer too much. It's been a lot of UCI and the way that they've scored their goals and sort of the breakdown of the beach. But Standifer, who took over after Morgan Houston Shepard was injured. Houston Shepard played in 9 matches. Standifer, who leads the Big West with an .829 save percentage, also ranks 3rd in goals against average with .95. She had two huge saves against Santa Barbara on October 30th in that Big West tournament, or championship, I should say, first game win, and 5 saves. 2 of them were big, 5 of them in total. But UCI has gotten the best of this Long Beach State team so far.
And it's hard for goalkeepers to make big saves off set pieces that are unmarked. When players are unmarked and they're able to get their head or their feet on the ball and set pieces, you're really asking your goalkeeper to do a lot. If you're bumping that player while they're shooting, then maybe that keeper has time to jump in to see what's happening. But in the play like we saw in the first goal with Covey, unless she were to step out and demand that space where Covey was, there's just not much she can do.
And Covey was wide open, standing literally with nobody marking her. It's almost a bit of a scramble on those set pieces, right? Especially coming off of a corner kick or a free kick. And, you know, standoffs just sort of, her head's bouncing around trying to follow the ball, and everything is happening so fast.
And marking tight on set pieces isn't just when the ball is stopped. It's when your team moves up and there's a second ball coming back in, and still having your head on a swivel, checking your shoulders, and being aware of where your runner is.
The history between these two teams in this championship match, this is the 4th time they have met in what is now the 22nd meeting. And Long Beach State has had the number of UCI, winning 3. Can they come back and win a 4th? They'll have to do it by making a massive comeback. Or can UCI, as the 6th seed, repeat as the Big West champions of last year?
And they're going to have to change from their current mentality. I was hoping to see a Long Beach team coming out with more grittiness. That's the best way to start an attack when you're down.
Solano gets on the end of this one, and she had Chavez, Maddie Chavez, at her right shoulder, going shoulder to shoulder. I thought maybe she was going to take an extra touch before that shot, but she thought my window's closing. And Chavez has really defended Solano well, and maybe that's why Solano tried to take that one.
She has, and when you as a defender can put scarcity in the mind of a goal scorer, you know you're doing something right. We get a good look back at it now. The more that Long Beach can try this long ball, though, it's gonna help them get back into this game. Solano unable to make a real opportunity out of it, but like you said, it could be Chavez creeping into the mind. Especially when you have such a hard tackler, you're always aware of, are they gonna come in and hit me right now?
And did Solano maybe think there might have been a late run from a teammate? There's a shot by UCI, Standoff, the keeper of Long Beach, all over that one. Came right to her.
And again, it's hard to be picky with UCI because they're up 3-0, but sometimes just have a few extra passes, really create that dangerous chance. They're having so much success with combo play with one another in the attacking third. Thread the ball a little bit more so it's just a really dangerous shot rather than a predictable shot that the keeper's ready for.
Love a rich rivalry, as this is the black and blue. Long Beach State, of course, being in the black, and UCI's colors being blue and gold. They're wearing pink today. The history between these two teams has been a lot of fun to talk about and fun to see. There is the Big West championship history. UC Irvine versus Long Beach State. All 3 goals scored in the first half in 2016 when Long Beach State beat UCI 3-0. They just came out with force. In 2012, Long Beach State got an at-large bid. They ended up losing to Santa Clara. Been paired up in the NCAA first round several times with the Santa Clara team, as UCI has a mishap there, and this will be a corner for Long Beach State University. So one of the opportunities for the Beach to come out and set up here.
And this opportunity is so crucial because it's getting momentum back in the game. When you're down 3 goals, you have got to find and hold on to momentum so you can keep firing. So moments like this, if it doesn't end up in much, you keep feeling deflated, you feel that scarcity. It's going to be important Long Beach creates something out of moments like this.
Maddie Perez will set up and take this one. She sends it inside, and wow, take a look at that. Hinojosa read that one all the way from Maddie Perez, right off her foot. And again, UCI with a quick restart here. They want to go the other way. Foul is called. That was Kiera Smangy who got on the end of that one when Hinojosa rolled the ball out. Here's the corner.
Absolutely dominating the box. And that's exactly what you want to see out of goalkeepers, especially in moments like this. And then her quick restart, her awareness to immediately throw it forward and attack the counterattack. And I love this because they're up 3 goals, and she has the awareness to say, nope, we're going for that 4th right now. They're spacing behind.
And I like how you use the description, complete domination in the box. And this foul will result in a yellow card against Laramie of Long Beach State, Alicia Laramie, number 9. So we have 2 yellow cards in the match, one against number 9 UCI Jaquez, one against number 9 Long Beach State Laramie. The 9's being punished today. Kick inside, ball is loose off the edge of the 6. Long Beach State clears it, but not for long. Jaquez, she sends one inside, but not playable.
And a beautiful cross in by Huff there. She's really found her footing. And what you love to see in championship matches is when players know what their strengths are and can play to them. And that's what Huff has really done these last few games of this season so far. And that's a dynamic cross. And again, Long Beach unable to clear immediately. This is really important. They have got to find a way to win these 50-50 balls on the first try.
Creighton will receive it. She sends it back to Jaquez, and Jaquez tries to make quick work of it and send it forward to Crowder, but Long Beach State is there, and here comes Ibarra. She has been good, but that touch, not as good as I have seen from Ibarra in the past. UCI is there. Here is Fung. She has been important, a bit quiet, but yet has done so many important things. Just her positioning, Grace, on the pitch and where she is, especially like right now. Look at how she's connecting with the rest of the team.
I totally agree, Tammy. Just because she hasn't scored a goal, sometimes you don't get your name called as much, but she's making all those little movements to allow this combo play to be so effective. And that's just work rate right there, knowing where to be and having the mentality of, I'm going to help my team get the ball from one place to the next. And UCI continuing to attack, continuing to be on that front foot. And for the first time this season that I've seen, they've always transitioned so quickly from offense to defense, and now for the first game consistently throughout the whole game so far, they're going straight from defense to offense the way they go from offense to defense.
Fung, who has been so instrumental for this UCI team, she's a transfer out of Texas and played 18 games with 10 starts as a freshman for UT, and this program now will slide her into the forward spot. Does Scott Juniper. And sometimes she will play underneath as well, plays as a midfielder.
And she has a great awareness to know how many touches should I take in this space. She's sometimes taking 1, sometimes taking 4. And those are little things that when players make them look simple, they don't look that hard. But that's why she's so good at it. She's making it look easy and really having great spatial awareness of where to be and how much time to take up on the ball.
Fung out of Fullerton, California, played at Sunny Hills High School. I know a lot about Sunny Hills High School. They are in Southern California and were a bit of a rival of ours at Brea High School. But her experience with the U15, 16, 17 in the U.S. team camp where she traveled internationally and played at that level. I think that's why you see the calmness and the composure on the ball, and that's what you get from Fung.
Absolutely.
She has played against the best and certainly a huge asset for the Anteaters. Coming into 57 minutes total of play, going into the 58th minute of this match, and Grace, you know, no reason to hit the panic button for the Beach, but certainly wanting them to move a little bit quicker and show that they can get on the board at some point in time here. You know, the longer this goes without them and with this 3-0 lead by UCI, gonna be tough.
I agree, and it's, as you said, it's not about being panicked, but you have got to start taking more risks. You're already down 3-0, so throw more numbers into the attack when you're building through the thirds of the field. Throw more long balls. Perez has great long-range distribution. Start testing that back line of UCI, dumping balls in behind. If I were coach, I would have them play, when you see teams in the last 10 minutes of a game and they're down a goal and you're just dumping balls in and dumping balls in, when you're down 3-0, it is kind of a similar vibe with this much time left in the game. So I would come with more aggression, continue to just throw that ball at the other team. So far, though, this Long Beach team isn't looking confident in that. It's not looking like any players, especially in the midfield, are willing to grab the ball and throw it forward.
A team that throughout the season, and as far as I'm concerned, I've watched Mauricio and Gracia coach a lot of soccer matches in his 19 years at Long Beach State, and they are a team that, you know, not only efficient offensively, very good defensively, but, you know, it's a team that's offensive minded, and they know how to score, and they can create, and they can score when they need to score. But I think you really have to credit the Anteaters here today for going with a game plan, sticking with it, but it's the execution. For me, it starts with them defensively that leads to those 3 goals, them feeling confident that they, you know, can push up and do what they do, and that build from the back that defensively that then allows them to transfer into the offense. And you get that confidence and you're thinking, yeah, we're feeling really good right now.
I totally agree. And there's moments where Solano's looking frustrated. We saw it on the foul a few minutes ago where she's kicking the ball and she just looks a little bit frazzled. And that's also so confidence building for UCI. When you're a defender and you know this girl who's really good at soccer is frustrated because you're playing well.
Fung sends a nice ball to Covey. And she's waiting, she's holding. She knows she's got players coming. She wanted to get Fung back in the middle, and on that far left side, you had Amber Huff.
And they have been so tight to Solano all game, which is also probably why she's feeling frustrated, taking a lot of physical play. And that's such a great mentality to do when you're against someone who's potentially better than you in terms of the stat sheet. That's always what I like to do. I like to hold their jersey a little bit secretively. You like to get in
frustrate them a little bit.
Yes, get in their head, because the best thing you can do is let them know you're there. Let them know you're there over and over again. Reminding your presence is always going to be there when they're trying to turn on the ball.
It's interesting because UCI really, you know, I don't want to say comfortable lead. I never say comfortable lead, especially against a Long Beach State team. But, you know, they beat the host, Cal State Fullerton, on October 30th, 2-0 in overtime. They had to grind for that one. Hinojosa had a save on a PK in the 65th minute. UCI scored off of corner kicks in that match. And then on November 3rd, UCI beat UC Davis 1-0. It hasn't been, for lack of a better term, as simple as it has been, or they've made it look easy this afternoon. It certainly got off on the right start with an early goal by Covey.
I totally agree. UCI has made this game look really easy, and hats off to Coach Juniper for coming out with a game plan that's worked so effectively. That personally caught me off guard. I wasn't expecting to see them come out so attacking, and it's great to see how well that it's working for the team.
These two coaches have major respect for each other. They know each other very well, both of them complimentary on our phone calls earlier this week about Scott Juniper saying you never know what you're going to get from Long Beach State. They're so good. They have a lot of weapons. Mauricio is a great coach, and Coach Gracia actually paid the same compliment to Scott Juniper. He says, well, they're going to tweak and they're going to do things differently, and they're going to figure out a game plan. And Coach Gracia said, you know, which one will execute. Right now, that edge goes to UCI. This would be the third Big West championship for UCI if they can hold Long Beach State off. 1997, and of course last year they would be defending this title if they won a third here this year.
And look at the body language of the players coming in for Long Beach State.
Great point.
I would love to see them clapping, getting players riled up. It's too deflated looking. If you're coming off the bench and you're down 3 goals, you've got to have that oomph, that need and that will to get this game back. And the whole team this match for Long Beach State just not feeling as confident as I'm used to them.
Some players standing, some players sitting for Long Beach State University. We understand it has been a long season. It's not easy. They have been in this area geographically at Cal Poly for a long time. But you look over at the other bench in UCI and all the players are standing. Now it's no surprise. You're up 3, you're pretty excited, but you're right. I think that demeanor, you don't want to have that chin to chest look, right? Like you've just been deflated when you have, you know, time left on the clock.
And that says so much to your teammates when you're coming back on the field and you're not bringing that aggression.
Misclear there, but followed up by a second clear attempt with Huff.
And one of Long Beach State's biggest weaknesses is their lack of depth. Coach Ingrassi has talked about this a lot. He pretty much plays his 11+2 most games. And when you get later in a season, that's when you have to ask. It works really well when you have players who are used to playing with each other and they find that flow. But when people start getting tired and this deflation kind of feeling space happens, you see the potential weakness of really lacking depth.
Yeah, I mean, Long Beach State, for example, at the end of the first half, Long Beach State University had put in 2 subs after the first 45 minutes. And I was expecting to see Summer Lasky, who wears number 7. She was in there. She played 17 minutes. Scott Juniper, on the other hand, played 4 substitutions and even has a few more that could go. UCI with a cross looking for something, and Covey wanted a little bit better touch on that one, didn't get it. And Long Beach State will set up for the goal kick. Long Beach State is a team that understands how to win 4 times Big West Championship. Had they hoisted the trophy in 18, 16, 11, and 10, and then went on to have good postseason runs. So they know how to do it, but that's easier said than being able to get there, right?
Absolutely. And being able to change in-game moments, because it's not like basketball where you have a timeout and the coach can yell and rile the players up. We see in-game, you have to be able to take that accountability as players in soccer and to change it as a player and have that in-game awareness of what's needed.
Scott Juniper earlier in the week on the phone talked about his team maybe even being beat up and fatigued a little bit. They do not look like that way to me, and they certainly did not start this match that way. But he said on the phone, we'll recover and we'll get right and we'll be where we need to be. And they were. Nice dummy ball played by UCI, and that lands on the foot of number 5, DeBacher, who has a goal in this match. I loved that dummy ball. I think that was Crowder, Aislinn Crowder, who played that dummy ball. She's a transfer out of UCLA, great career at UCLA in 2021, but came over to UCI, and she has been everything she was promised to be. She played 14 games at UCLA, including 2 starts, but wanted a chance in UCI and is getting that chance.
And I love that awareness of the dummy play there. And that's showing their confidence again to be in a championship match, taking risks still. You're up 3-0, you're feeling yourselves a little bit. I love to see those innovative plays.
With the dummy ball, the nutmeg that we've seen, the couple of flicks, the throw-ins. I mean, this is a team that for UCI is skilled, well coached. They are honing their craft, Grace, and it is certainly showing. Crowder sends a beautiful ball just through, makes it look simple. Good cross there. Alyssa Moore has had herself a great match. Another ball sent in from the outside by Manzo. She has some magical moments in the opponent's half, including assists and goals. Look at this run here, quick. Oh, wow, and Long Beach State just ran in to this, I mean, just ran in to the center back. And if I'm not mistaken, that has to be Maddie Chavez, number 23 for UCI. Alyssa Reyes of Long Beach State, who is in, just ran into a brick wall. Good shot by Cox. I like that. She's taken it from just outside the 18. Good pass off to Summer Lasky. She puts it up and over.
Substitution for the Anteaters coming in number 28.
And that's better for Long Beach State there, because UCI's backline was dropping. Even though Long Beach State had possession at the box, they were still dropping, which allowed Cox to have those extra passes. If Long Beach State can keep building that confidence and have combo play to then go wide, it's going to be more successful for them.
Yeah, and if you're pushing towards the end line, right, or towards that 6-yard box, and that back line is dropping. In fact, if the minute you don't, you bring that back out, there's space. And if they're not quick enough to close the gap on you, that leaves you that window where you can shoot, pass, or, you know, look to create. Fung. Nicely played. This is a, oh, good looking cutback Fung, who tried to put that one up and over. I thought Emily Castagna was going to take a good look. I actually thought she was going to rip a shot off with her left foot, but she didn't.
Me too. Fung set her up so beautifully to have a one-time finish.
There it is.
Look at this again. She's aware of her spatial place on the field, and it really looked like Castagna could have just ripped that one time with her left foot. The ball was set up running before her, decides to take a few extra touches.
She actually touched it with her right foot in receiving it. She did not let it drag across her body with that left, so maybe that touch, and then she came back into the defense going against the grain there. I think that's where she might have made that mistake.
I totally agree. And those first touches in the box, they're so important that they're going away from your defender. If you're gonna elect to take a touch, it's gotta go into space. If your touch is directly under you, you're sitting on it and it allows the defenders to just step to you. But if you can go at some kind of angle and it bursts you past, then it's okay to take that touch and then have the finish.
Yeah, I literally thought she would touch that ball with her outside foot, have a touch. She touched it with her inside, and I think that's where she actually got slowed down. And when you slow down, this Long Beach State team, they're just too good. They're going to recover quick enough. Maddie Perez sends one inside the 6. Boy, she's a threat, a great weapon. Really have enjoyed watching her play live. I mentioned earlier she takes free kicks, she takes the corners. Here she is lining up for a corner, but she's their go-to. She's the one that, and even in training, she'll put those in. And sometimes she's just not as fortunate in games when she's just outside the 18. In fact, I think she missed one earlier this year where they thought, okay, here's her opportunity. And it didn't happen, but she'll take this corner. Good look. That was a real good look by Alicia Laramie of Long Beach State University. But guess who was all over it, reading it right off the foot of Laramie? Hinojosa.
And Laramie here adjusting her body, finding where the ball's going to land. And that's a really good contact. She's able to get her foot on it, try to get some bend, unable to get enough power. You have to really snap over that with your laces, but it's hard to keep it low. So I actually like the way she chose to hit it. But Hinojosa, she's confident she's going to own her space, and it's going to take more power on a shot than that to really get behind her.
We had mentioned Hinojosa, who has had 4 shutouts in 4 Big West Championship matches. She's aiming for a 5th. If it doesn't happen, she won't care. As long as her team wins, she'll be satisfied. She needed 4 saves coming into this match today to break into UCI's top 10 all-time saves. '72nd minute we are in. Oh, look at the speed of Jaquez, number 9. Boy, she dribbles with great touch. Caceres broke that one up, Grace.
And I love Jaquez's mentality to just take it up the gut, take it straight towards goal. So often when you see those defenders dribble questing, they don't always remember to get the pass off in time because they get really committed to that dribble at pace. But I like the idea there and the mentality it's showing. You're up 3-0, you have your outside back running up the gut, trying to get towards goal. It's a good way to keep mentality high for the whole team.
Intimidating when you see somebody running that fast with that great composure, and her touches on the ball were quality, right? And you're running right at a back line, and nobody is slowing her down.
And you see so often with defenders, they've just got to slow down at the end of their dribble quest. They get really committed to going forward. Just slow it down right before you pass. You can get that pass off in time.
Julian Moore tries to slow it down and pass it off, but a step in by guess who? Maddie Chavez. of UCI, and we have a Long Beach State player who is down, and we have a whistle from our head referee as looks to be okay.
And again, a moment like this, if I'm a player for Long Beach State, I'm talking to my teammates, I'm riling them up, I'm trying to build confidence, I'm reminding them of who we are and what we stand on. And we see a lot of players just looking deflated, looking frustrated, not communicating with one another. When things aren't going well, you need extra communication. When you're getting beat off set pieces, you need extra communication. And those are the moments that you want your leaders, your veterans, your captains to really be aware of and stepping into their role better there.
They say when you're winning, everything's easy, right? It's easy to lead, it's easy to smile. It's when things aren't going so well, you know, how will you behave? People are watching. What will you do to bring people out of that depth that they are in right now and that hole that they're trying to come out of? And that's what separates the gamers, right, from those that just talk. It's like, are you walking it? Yeah, let's see what they can do.
I love that, and I fully agree. To be able to still be a leader and to bring people into their confidence even when you're frustrated in a game and things aren't working well really says something about players.
Nice takeaway. Long Beach State University is not looking for any moral victories, that's for sure. They came here with one goal in mind, and that was to win it all and to receive the automatic berth to the NCAA tournament. And they wanted to chase the Elite Eight appearance that they had back in 2011. But UCI is showing that they have other plans for Long Beach State, and that is their spot. Time is winding down as we get into about 73.5 minutes of play. Here's Solano. She'll bring that ball out wide.
And the best way for UCI to continue to control the dominance over this match is to keep playing with aggression, to keep finding those combo plays. They're up 3. It's not like it's a one-goal game where you need to seclude and make sure no goals get in the back of the net. So I think it really makes sense for them to keep attacking and keep making that confidence hard to build for Long Beach State. If they then decide to go too defensive in UCI, Long Beach State can build confidence because they'll get more possession of the ball. So I like that Coach Juniper so far is having in this whole second half. UCI is just attacking and still having that pressure mentality.
And they have number 16 up front, Alyssa Moore, who is a great target for them as a great central striker. And there she is. She will run onto this ball on that left side. There's Alyssa Moore. I think Fung and Moore for UCI have been very, very good in this match, in particular here in this second half. Fung has played a really key role in working together to not only possess, to draw attention away, and then to create other chances. And UCI has been able to, they haven't finished in the second half because they scored all 3 in the first, but.
I totally agree. Fung has been all over the place in a really beautiful way. In Long Beach State, whenever they get the ball, it's going to be important that they're immediately finding scoring opportunities. Just getting into the attacking third when they do is simply not enough when you're down 3 goals. They've got to find ways that they're continuously getting shots at the net. And I have no problem with the long ball game when it needs to be there. And I think sometimes in a game like this, start dumping it a little bit more. Make these UCI defenders have to step up and win a 50-50 ball. Maybe it bounces in Solano's favor. We've seen that in other goals, and she gets that 1v1 finish.
That's a good point. You've been calling for that for a little while now. Less than 15 minutes left in this match. UCI has been great at managing this clock. Their possession has been great. As soon as they scored that second goal, I thought, okay, they can, it changes the way that they manage the game. And then they got on the board with a third by DeBacher, and that really can change things and in terms of your time management. But it's another dangerous loose ball that I thought, man, could be flicked in by UCI. But I think Scott Juniper probably talked about time management at the half, right, Grace?
Definitely, but again, when you're up 3 goals, it is a little different. If they were to concede a goal or two, you might change, but I think because what you're doing is working so well, there's really no reason to change. Sometimes you see coaches changing too early, and it brings the team to the back foot when you choose to go defensive, and it allows the other team to build confidence. So I love that they're continuing to be aggressive.
You can manage the clock to your advantage with a 3-0 lead and still be aggressive and still have an offensive mindset.
And just out-possessing the team. We see a good chance for Long Beach State building.
Reyes. There's a nice pass to the outside. Solano clapping for her teammate. Nothing happened there, but look at Solano go over and be that leader and give Reyes a nice high five as Reyes gets on this one. She didn't want any part of it with her left foot, so she brought it back inside, cut in just a tad, and brought it to her right foot where she got off a decent shot.
In Reyes, when your setup touch isn't horizontal and you're trying to bend it around the keeper, it's hard to do that. You have to completely reorient your hips around the ball. So if she's going to take a straight touch there, you've got to use a different texture on the ball.
It also takes a little bit of time to do that, and defenses will close in as we have a substitution. Cherry Cox will come back in.
It is nice to see Solano assuming that leadership role there and clapping for her teammates, and she's coming down into the midfield now, really trying to get the ball and bring it into the attack.
Emily Harigi comes off. She's given good minutes to this Long Beach State team, the junior out of Chino Hills, California. And like I mentioned, Cherry Cox, the freshman, who also is the freshman of the year in the Big West, checks back in.
For Irvine, coming in number 20, Aaron Covey, replacing number 16.
There is a good look in the shadows there of Amber Huff. We have substitution Aaron Covey, who got on the board first for UCI with that great flick. She is back in. Scott Juniper saying she's really the best player they have ever had. Banged up, injured throughout her time, but she's making the most of it.
And what a fun goal to score in a championship match. That's a highlight reel right there. You know, we do that in practice, and you can take those risks in practice, but in a championship match, to have your gut reaction to flick your heel up, I absolutely love it.
Kobe, who has 11 years of club experience, you can tell why she brings such a highly skilled level of soccer to the pitch. Played for the Legends Football Club, Arsenal Football Club as well. Long Beach State really, boy, taking a lot of time off their own clock that they don't really have. But here's an idea. So Caceres and Perez knocking it back, and then they try to make a run up that right side by going quickly direct, Grace. A quick turn and very direct.
Did you know that's what I wanted to see, Tammy?
Yeah.
You've
been calling for it. You've been calling for it. Laramie can't chase that one down for the beach, so UCI will throw it in.
Coming in for Irvine, number 30, Lila Elba-Harry, replacing number 25, Autumn Tompkins.
Lila Elba-Harry is in for UCI, number 30. And off goes Autumn Tompkins, who scored a goal in this match. A beautiful goal. Grace, I've been impressed by the composure of UCI, the firmness, the strength, and their finish in all that they've done.
I totally agree. And just the all-out mentality of this game, to be first to more 50-50 balls, to get on the head of those set pieces, it's been really impressive. And they came out with a championship mindset in a championship game.
Hard to defend your title, which UCI is trying to do in this championship game. 13 times they have been to the Big West tourney. 7 appearances in this final match. They've won 2. Can they make it 3? And it would be back-to-back for the Anteaters if they did. They are the 6th seed. They were picked in the preseason coaches poll first.
And we see them dropping in more defensively. I'm guessing Coach Juniper called from that for the sideline, and already Long Beach State's able to have a bit more possession from that change.
Offside, Irvine.
Emily Castanya just played that nicely, but her teammate was just a bit too anxious and got off on that. As that back line for Long Beach State pushed up, or pushed forward and drew the offside. Caceres. Oh, nice. Good work by Julia Moore to get it to Cox. And now Cox has a nice little run as that ball gets cut inside. There's Cox. And whoa, close. She keeps that one low to the ground, looking at that far post. A late run that did not get finished. There was not that follow through on that late run on the opposite side. But watch this, Cox, and she just keeps this.
And I love that Cox is continuously looking for her shot.
Yeah,
from
she
a
is.
freshman, you want to see that kind of mentality. In Long Beach State, they're a much better team build-up. They're finding each other's feet and able to thread some balls and create a scoring opportunity.
Cherry Cox, who prepped out of West Torrance High School, and she led her high school to 3 CIF state championships, or the CIF Division III state championships, I should say, pardon me, in 2021-22. She is just a freshman. Oh, the bicycle. That was Solano. She's looking for another virtual.
I thought we were about to see round 2 right there. I got so excited. She didn't fully send it, though. She didn't go on the back.
Yeah, she went viral with that bicycle kick.
She did. And we get a look back at it now. Cox making a lot of good things happen right now by just attacking the goal, going inline. And Solano, these are the little things you see goal scorers try to do that other players don't have the audacity to try. I love the way that Cox goes inline sometimes and then also shoots sometimes, because it's unpredictable. If you have a wide forward that you know is always going to create that touch to shoot, it's easier to defend. So I like that she's finding a way to mix that up.
Well, she certainly is a threat, and she can pass and be effective on the assists, but she can also score. 5 goals, 5 assists for Cherry Cox coming into this match. I think, you know, she does a really nice job at being able to run off the center forward in Solano in that number 9 position. Her total points, her total goals, her total assists leads the Big West in terms of leads freshmen with those 3 statistical categories for Cherry Cox. This is going to be a good shot. Oh, a clean looking shot for UCI. That ball left open in the middle, Grace.
And Castanya setting up Monzo so beautifully. I love the way she created this play. And Monzo can finish that. I've seen her quality with shooting on goal. Unfortunately, doesn't get it on net, but a great team play right there for UCI.
Part of the Mexican national team, U20 World Cup qualified out of Mater Dei High School in my old stomping grounds. She has sent a couple that have been unlucky for her throughout the year. I think she hit one earlier off the season, off the crossbar. She is an elusive player, according to Scott Juniper. Is Monzo. Has those magical moments that he talked to us about. She can definitely win a game. She can hurt you by really attacking at the opponent in her attacking half.
And I love the way that Castanya's pass set it up where it could be a slow take for the finish. It wasn't too fast of a pass. It really allowed Monzo to have a good rip on that.
Here's Monzo again, looking. She sends a diagonal ball. She actually wants to get that ball back to Castanya to repay the favor. Those two are trying to connect.
I love to see it.
Great diagonal ball there. I think it's just maybe a bit heavy for Castagna, who just couldn't get there in time, maybe a step behind.
Definitely, and great awareness to pick your head up and find the man running in behind.
Foul. Long Beach State will work quickly here, but time is running out. 4 minutes left in this match, down by 3.
And Solano has been getting beaten up all
Yes. Well, she draws a double and a triple. She's that good when you look on the stat sheet. She's on everybody's scouting report, has 16 goals on the year, looking to bring in number 17, which would break the record for single season goals scored. There is Solano, your Big West Offensive Player of the Year. More substitutions for UCI.
Substitution for the Anteaters, coming in number 25, Autumn Tompkins, replacing number 12, Kiera Snaggy.
Autumn Tompkins back in. She's that goal scorer. Oh, nicely done there by Maddie Chavez, who clears this one, because behind her was Long Beach State, who looked to potentially be able to settle and take a shot.
A big time clearance there.
Yeah.
And again, the mentality to sacrifice your body, even when you're up 3 goals, it's fantastic, but also a better opportunity for Long Beach State. They're able to get their head on that first 50-50 ball, and Perez able to have a great ball in to create an opportunity.
UCI frustrated by picking up that foul. Long Beach State says, well, we want to work quickly. Maddie Perez putting the ball down as these numbers push forward inside the box. It's been a tough afternoon here for Long Beach State. Have not played the way that they wanted to play. And credit UCI for their execution.
And that's another great ball in by Perez. The amount of spin that it has allows it to stay in the air, which if you do have a goal scorer that can get up in the air and get their head on it, it gives you time to really read the ball.
Appreciate the fans that came out this afternoon. Good crowd here at Mustang Memorial Field on the campus of Cal Poly. What a beautiful day for soccer. We brought it to you, because when it's this good of a day, Grace, you just kick it off. If this Long Beach State University team has been anything under Mauricio and Gracia, it has been consistent. And this has certainly been a tough pill to swallow, to know that you had to go into halftime down by 3, and you still haven't been able to get on the board. It doesn't take away what he and his team have accomplished and what he's done with this program, but really credit to UCI and Scott Juniper for a job well done. Ibarra will try to put one in, and she has gone over the crossbar for the 2nd time this afternoon. She's got a good long-range outside shot, Grace.
And I love that she took that opportunity. It was a really beautiful shot she took, almost able to get it on net, and we're seeing her quality from these long-range shots. We get a good look back at it now.
Here it is. She has the space. Closing in was an Anteater, but not quick enough. And Ibarra, that's a nice shot there.
And that's not an easy place to hit it from on the field.
Just under 2 minutes to play. Scott Juniper, the head coach at UCI, feeling really good about this one, so pleased. Didn't really think that the other game in the semis that anyone really stood out. Was hoping that his team could just play a little bit better, and boy, did they step up to his call to action today. He is the all-time winningest coach in UCI history, 10 winning seasons for Scott. Last year, of course, a season to remember for the Anteaters. The year before, we all know what happened in 2020. Soccer was just canceled because of COVID. Not the case this year. think this UCI team, should they be able to hold on for the next minute and win it all in their automatic berth to the NCAA tournament. Grace, I don't know how you feel about them in the postseason, but this is the way you want to go into the postseason with this type of momentum and finishing this strong.
I completely agree, and they had a bit of a lull in that middle of conference season part, and now we're seeing them just really step into themselves, and this is the time. Great coaches know how to make teams trend at the right time, and this is what we're seeing with UCI 2 years in a row now. So I would be feeling confident if I'm Coach Juniper coming off a championship match where my team rose to the pressure so beautifully. And this is multiple games in a row where they've had must-win games where they've stepped up and found a way to make it happen.
Grace, you called it. This was a very different match than the one that was held earlier as UCI tries to rip off another shot. These two teams tied earlier this season. But it was 5 ties on the season for UCI. And then they went to the Central Coast and lost back-to-back games against Santa Barbara, Cal Poly, and then turned it around. And they turned it around at the right time, and that's exactly how they're going to finish it today. Congratulations to UCI, the Anteaters, defending their Big West Championship title.
And with absolute dominance, Tammy, a 3-0 win in a championship match is not easy, and they came out and killed it in the first half and just